Our viewers, my name is Honorable Yozuwa Johnson Agwanima. People call me EJ. That's my mission. Representing the good people of Ego, Global Africa Conference, the habits of the nation. And this is my story on AI.
I'm Chief Ibrahim A. Sarki, the district head of Waru, under Garki Chiefdom, Abuja Municipal Area Council, and this is my story.
I am Baron Joseph Okoni, Administrator, Igalamela Odolu Local Government Area of Kogi State, and this is my story.
I'm Senator Joko, and this is my story.
My names are Dr. Prince Desmond Odinakachi Madekenwa Ononuju. This is my story.
On today's episode of My Story, Honorable Joseph EDIONWELE takes us through his upbringing, challenges, and how he rose through the ladder. Please stay tuned and be inspired.
I'm Honorable Joseph EDIONWELE. I was born 1st February 1960. I lost my father at a tender age. My father died 1963. I was just 3 years old. So actually we had to move with my mother to our maternal father. So it's called Pa Salami. So that's where we eventually grew up. So I stopped my primary school because those days we used to pay little token to go to primary school. So I actually attended my primary school, had my primary 6 examination and stopped. And in 1974, I eventually had to go back to secondary school. So I finished my secondary school in 1979 and taught in the same school, Ujoin Grammar School. Luckily for me, in my secondary school, the first year was the only year I paid my school fees. The second year, I had a government scholarship that actually saved the day. So I was able to have a scholarship, which took me into the boarding house and made school easy. So I was on maybe 5 naira allowance. As somebody was there, and equally had indigent scholarship too. So, but I had to make do with the government scholarship, while the indigent scholarship they were giving me that 5 naira, quarterly. So that's how I was able to go to my secondary school. I had grade 2 then and taught in the same school. I was a teacher in that same school before I gained admission first to University of Maduguru, where I was supposed to be the second set of the medical student there. But there was nobody to pay the school fees, so I had to come back to Edo State again, and the same school. Taught again before I gained admission into Anchi Polytechnic, where I read accounting, read accounting, OND and HND, and eventually wrote my exam, became a chartered accountant. And I got employed into NIFO, Nigeria Institute for Oil Palm Research near Benin, where I rose to the position of a chief accountant. I was bound to go into politics because of my experiences, and it's the only way you can actually assist people. So in 1999, I contested to the local government chairman of East and West local government, and I won, and we spent 3 years. After that, and I became member of the local government service, first member of local government service commission of the state. And from there, I rose to my party nominated me or elected me to be the South South Secretary of the party, South South Zone. I became the secretary. So from there, and I contested, and today I'm a member of the National Assembly as a member, as House of Rep member. So that's been my journey. It has not been that rosy. You know, when you lose your father at a very tender age of 3, you know what that is. So basically, it was my mother that actually took care of me, and we were able to come together of the family, because I was number 3 in the family of 5. Unfortunately, we are 2 today. I lost 3, the senior one, and 2 other junior ones. So then my sister and myself today that my sister and my brother came together to pay my school fees for the first year in the secondary school. So before I got scholarship, and so now, while I was even in Anchi Polytechnic, I was always doing this what we call vacation job. I don't know whether it still exists today. So I was always doing that in the Union Bank. I was lucky that I was always, the first year, the other years, I was able to get vacation job that was assisting me in payment of my school fees. Before Ali came, we had bursary. So it has just been lucky, because if done for that bursary, maybe we would have equally survived that Anchi Polytechnic. So then, of course, when I got a job in NIFO, I was able to save some money. I eventually went into politics, and today I'm in the house. So it wasn't an easy thing, because unfortunately, when I won my local government election to be the chairman of the East and West local government, my mother died. So eventually she didn't benefit from her struggle throughout the time, that from the 3 years old to single-handedly, bring us up. My mother was making a lot of things for us. She makes pap, she makes soup, and of course we harvest this banana. When they arrive, we help to sell it, and of course she makes a curry. So these are the things we normally sell in the morning before you go to school. If you don't do that, how are you going to survive? Because where you are, there's no further. And the little farm she's able to make, we join to. So when you close from school, you join her in that farm. At times, some friends follow you to go and assist her to make sure that we're able to have a bigger farm. At the end of the day, we harvest. Most of the times, it's not the yam. She cannot plant, and she will harvest cocoa yam and all that, and make banana plantation.
Stay tuned, and we will be right back.
Life is full of people who pursue ambition in a bid to make progress. They have experienced volumes, catalog of losses, ranging from loss of life to loss of joy, loss of family, loss of dignities. Fact, some sacrifice their health in a bid to obtain progress. Life is about impact, it's about touching lives.
There's what you call grand corruption, petty corruption, and systemic corruption.
Free education is the cheapest project the government can embark, unlike construction.
Small issues like lights, steady power supply. For me, that's the biggest issue.
We need to look at socio-political, economic foundations and resilience organizations for our teenagers.
Leadership is an opportunity for you to serve other people. And if you are not willing to serve, you have no business being in leadership.
Well, the main motivation is that when I was brought up, I told you I lost my father when I was just 3 years old. So what the motivating factor that I was able to go through all this through assistance from people, from the family members, and of course my mother, and of course people are experiencing that now. And if not for the scholarship I got, if not for the bursary I got from Governor Ambrosali, I would have been able to even go to school at all. So that's why that's motivating enough for me to say equally do that to those I feel that they're indigent in nature. In fact, it spoils you to be successful because you have experienced all. Because in my own case today, I farm because of that my experience. So I still enjoy farming. So it's not as if it's a problem for me now. Rather, I enjoy farming, and that's why I have a very large oil plantation. I still make yam, I still make this banana plant, and of course pineapple farm. I still do that because of that my childhood experience. So it's a part of it. It's not a way of life for me. I don't think it does. The only thing that I wish that government by now should still be doing those kind of scholarship, indigent scholarship in particular. It's very, very important. It helped a lot of us to be able to go through the secondary school and of course the higher institution days. Otherwise, if not, and bursary is equally important. So that's why I see someone like me now have to give a scholarship to people because that was what survived me in my own time. Partly luck, partly struggle and dedication and commitment, Because I say luck because when I got scholarship, that assisted, relieved my parents. And when you say this, and if you are not intelligent, you won't be able to get scholarship because you have to write exams because you compete even with advanced level, like Igweben Advanced College then was there. So we compete with them. And even in essay writing and all that. So we got a scholarship. In fact, me in my own case, I got to both indigent scholarship and the government scholarship. So it was agreed that the other one should be monetized, so they were giving me 5 naira. I won't do anything different because it's where you find yourself, the family you came from. You are not the one that decides where you are going to come from. You were born into a family that your father died too early. What are you going to do? But of course, we eke out life by supporting our mother, avoid trouble, because there's nobody that is going to defend you. Of course, you can't go into drugs. It's funny that as I grew up to this age, I have never smoked. I've never had the privilege of smoking. Even when I was supposed to not smoke, and I know that smoking was not a good thing. The first stout I ever drank was when I was a teacher in my alma mater. So, and I couldn't even drink it because that was my first and I thought it was sweet. So I don't think I have anything I would have done differently. In fact, I'm happy I was able to survive and navigate that life. And I don't think those who have their father today are better than me. Government in particular need to play a greater role. Well, because I don't see why education at that level of primary and secondary school can't be free. I don't really see why. And if it's not free, at least it should be such that payment of school fees shouldn't be a problem. It should be so low It should be what government should subsidize and see that they contribute. And of course, like I said, I enjoyed scholarship. And there was even indigent scholarship. When they know that you're bright and you cannot pay school fees, they give you, such scholarship. Those kind of incentive should be, encouraged by government, should be introduced by government. And of course, when you talk of bursary, I don't see why government cannot give bursary, to assist. At least, it won't be the fault of government or the fault of the society if all these incentives are provided and the child is unable to cope. But not for those who are wasting. They have they have the intelligence, but they cannot pay school fees. You are prevented just simply because you cannot pay school fees. And it's the society that will suffer for it. Society that will suffer for it. Because we need to. If we go to America, go to South Africa, go to Botswana, they are all, school is virtually almost free. You are assisted, you get scholarship, or you are made to take a loan, and you pay back as you start what you call student loan. I don't see those are the things that government should do. Of course, your parents should be able to guide you to ensure that you don't join bad gangs, you don't join these drug addicts and all that. And of course, beside that, they should be able to give you some basic education by way of telling you the do's and don'ts. And of course, assist to buy some things for you so that you don't have regrets. At least notebook. I was unable to buy textbooks, but the notebook I copy textbooks into a notebook to be able to read. So I think parents still need to encourage by way of making you read, encourage you to recheck your notes and see what you are doing, and ask you some basic questions. I still do that today to my children. It's more about money now, and nobody asks you. You dare not come to the house and with a biro that is not your own. They ask you, where did you get this biro from? I'm talking of a biro or even a pencil. They know the one that they bought for you because it's marked by them to know your own. You know the mark that is in your own, But these days, even if you come with a new car, your parents don't ask questions. That it's two different worlds entirely to me. You need to go back to that place where parents ask you questions. But now you see even a child maybe is into this Yahoo business and all that. Even buys a car for the parents, they don't even question. They don't do that. In fact, you are checked as you come and they check your bag, reload your back so that the things that are there are yours. And if the one that is not yours, you must explain how you got about having this biro or this pencil or this eraser. But they know what they bought for you. So it's unfortunate that the emphasis now is more on money. It's more on money. You can actually see when you are talking of education, nobody is actually too interested. They want to know how success is now measured by the amount you have in your bank and the assets you are able to acquire. It's no longer about those days. You just say this person is in secondary school. It's a very big thing. You will be giving that maximum respect. Or this person is in the university. But now, even if you tell somebody is a PhD, that actually doesn't matter. People now look at the material things rather than those basic educational standards. I'm so fortunate. And that's why the society is, you can't see blood. Because you are told it's sacrilegious. You'll be able to see blood. But now, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you acquire your wealth now. That is the problem. your school fees shouldn't be a problem. If you want to do your right from primary school, in fact, primary school and secondary school should be made totally free, unless you have that basic education to work. And if you want to go back to university, you don't have the money, you take a student loan, which you made to pay back, because the society will be better for it. And because when you now struggle, eventually you are old, you now even marry, that might end your career. So, but if there's a scholarship, there's a student loan where you can take, it still happens today in US. If you want to do any course, you take a loan, and you're expected to pay back when you start working. The records are there. But the situation where those ones are not there, you find yourself into probably a wrong camp, because in trying to survive, because the man's instinct is that he must survive. And in the process of surviving, you might run into a bad gang. But if you know that you have done your degree, you want to do your master's program, the government is there for you, you want to do your PhD, the government is there for you. Of course, if you can just run it all out. And before you start looking for work, and by the time you get to your master's program, you already know what to do. You can work and at the same time be able to do your school program. But these days, government don't even care. They don't even provide even amenities in the school. You even have to attend school where you have to even be paying development levy. So it's discouraging. You cannot even pay your school fees. Somebody's talking about. They even now acceptance school fees. You now even have what we call admission. Haven't got admission. They even have what we call acceptance fee. And that sometimes is even higher than the school fees. That's bad enough and very discouraging. And you know, our society, we are polygamous. So it's not easy for somebody to have about 6 kids or 7 or 8 to be able to pay like 60,000 naira as a farmer. And so they really don't want to learn anything these days. And the society is getting worse for it. I know what I went through, so that's why when you talk of somebody who is pregnant, can't pay school fees, can't even enroll for JAM, I have to do that to enroll a lot of them. I have to pay school fees for those exceptional bright kids. And of course, as much as possible, when they come out, you try to see if you can fix them into getting a good job and all that, so that they can work out life from there. And I don't see why government should not be able to introduce scholarship. EDIONWELE scholarship, I enjoyed it. And of course, we talk of a bursary. And outside that, they should have student loan that should be able to assist people. Paying, going to school shouldn't be a problem in the site. And everybody in Zimbabwe, that we even saw that there are sections. Basic primary and secondary school, virtually you don't pay anything. And that's why you see their rate of literacy is 99%. While we are struggling with 50 or 49%. I'm talking of a country that is even saturated, because they take education as very, very important. Because once you have that basic education, you understand the laws, you know rules and regulations. You are not ignorant. Because education itself, lack of it is a disease. So government to start off trying to remodify the society should make education at that level, primary and secondary school, to be free. So that when you have that basic school certificate, you'll be able to now know what government is even saying. It's not everybody that even know what government is talking about. Because even if you have science, you try to even, they don't listen to news. But if you have a skill set, you'll be able to know what governments are, their policies, and how to follow. So governments must ensure that at that level is basically free, if not at least subsidized up to 80%. When I was back in my constituency, I used to play football because I played football at a time there. We drive up to the state level. We used to, Dr. Bemudia used to give us some allowance as state footballers who will represent the state and all that. But as I grew up, there were so many things that even younger ones want to make sure that they enjoy it, so I stopped playing football. But majorly what I do now is to read, then motivating speeches. I talk to people, I talk to younger ones, encourage them, and let them know life is not a thing you just say you get on a platter of gold. You rightly said, the man you are seeing today has passed through the valley. And let them know that even the tortoise still climb mountains. It's just that it cannot go straight, but it still gets to the mountain top. So by the time you give those motivating speeches, and of course they get to know that life is not on a platter. You can be lucky that you start from the mountain top, but most of the times those that came from the valley stays longer in the mountain top because they know where they're coming from. Get focused, and when you look back tomorrow, you say, I survived. But life is about survival. This is my story, and my story is survival. Working hard, getting committed, focused, set a goal, and a vision comes louder when the goal is called.
And that's it on My Story today. For your comments and suggestions, please send a text or WhatsApp message to 0806 004 2843. Thank you for staying tuned.